Buzz's Retirement Garage. Happy Easter Monday to you. I hope your Easter Sunday was good. We threw a ham on the already cooked ham on the pit barrel and smoked that. And Mrs. Buzz made up some good stuff to eat. And we also did a short where Mrs. Buzz was in the short. Of course, I had to tell her I lost like 12 subscribers since I did that. No, I won't tell her. But yeah, so we have a short out there where we colored some eggs yesterday, which is a tradition for us. And I know I got a couple comments about, boy, you must be rich if you could afford eggs. Well, actually, the price of eggs have gone down to $3.99 for the plain white ones, which is what you use for coloring eggs, right? And then gas was $2.53, so at least we're saving some money here and there, and then spending money too. So am I going to have to go back to work? I know there's been a couple people putting out videos about that. There's been a couple people putting out videos about maybe if it's 2025, don't retire. This doesn't seem straight again. That's a little better. So I'm wondering now, and I have a couple reasons why. I'm contemplating it. So 3 big reasons. Well, actually 4 probably, if you think about it. So 1, and this I can deal with, but wintertime. You know, I did a couple videos and I've talked about it, how this past winter was tough. It was just, you know, being inside and I'm an outdoors person. I love, like today, it's just a beautiful day today. And then it got windy and rainy because a cold front came through. And now it's 75 degrees and beautiful again. I'm outside. I was going to take this video outside and do the video outside, but I was afraid it was going to rain again on me. So plus I had too much paraphernalia to take out. But yeah, about 4 things. And one of those would be the winter time. So should I go back to work during the winter? And that's kind of what I'm thinking right now is maybe, certainly not during the spring and summer, and maybe not even the fall. But should I go back to work part-time in the winter? Now, if you guys are seeing me for the first time, I retired in September, I should say, of 2023. I've had a number of reasons why. It wasn't one giant thing, but I did retire, or I should say I left my job because they had lost a big program that I knew I was going to have to either take a different job there, add more responsibilities to myself, which meant getting there at 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not a morning person, driving an hour to get there, so having to wake up at 4 a.m. was just not something I really wanted to do at 63, going on 64 years old. Knowing that the winter time, because I retired the end of September, I knew was another winter coming that I'd have to be driving in the snow and the ice and with the crazy people out there, including myself. So, you know, there was a whole bunch of things that went through my mind of why I should leave, and they were all good reasons. And I contemplated it for a long time, for the whole year of 2023, because I knew the program was ending. It was supposed to end March of 2023, which I certainly would have had to get a job then, because I would have just definitely went looking for a job. But since COVID extended the program until September, I decided as soon as the program ended and we lost 40% of sales, that I would just, because I just knew I was going to leave, because I knew they couldn't pay me what I was making with the 40% less in sales coming in, and they would probably, if it was me, I would have had to branch out and done some other we probably would have lost a supervisor, and I would have had to take that role as well. So again, I didn't want to get there at 6 in the morning to start the shift at 7. I didn't want to go through all that. I lived too far away to be reliable, especially in the winter. When you're a supervisor, you need to be there. So a lot of things said to get out. Now, when I did get out in September of 2023, I thought, okay, you know, maybe let's get through the holidays, and come January, February, I'll go ahead and get a job. Well, then YouTube kicked in. And as many of you know, some don't if you're new to me, but I started in December of 2023 doing videos. I got monetized and got my first check in February. I think I was monetized in January. Got my first check in February. And from then on through December of last year, I made 18 grand. Now that was before taxes. And of course, the reason I thought about doing that is because I saw Dwayne at on his channel. He was making all kinds of money, and I thought, well, gee, that's kind of interesting. I love to BS. I love to flap my gums. So I thought, well, that could be something like a part-time job where I could do it from my home, and it's pretty simple and stress-free. Do it when I want. I had no idea that I would be making, over $1,000 a month. No idea whatsoever. I had no clue that that could happen as quickly as it did and as well as it did. So that got me through all of last year. And, my taxes are I'm going to be going Friday in a couple of days here to see what's happening with my taxes. I did file an extension, but we'll see how that goes. But so this year, there's been like 4 things that have hit. Well, one we already talked about, the wintertime, right? So, how I felt during the 3 or 4 months in Cleveland winters, it was a tough one this past year. And I thought it would get better because in 2023, I went through that winter into 2024. And yeah, it was, but I got through it. It was okay. So I thought I got this handled. No, I didn't. This winter of 2024, 2025, it just kind of knocked me on my butt. And I mean, literally, I stayed on the couch. And you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, at least too much. And I think I did it way too much. So, I just didn't want to venture out into the cold and the snow and all that. It was just, hey, I could stay in my warm house. Why would you want to go out? I'm not a skier. I'm not I will ice fish with a nice warm shanty. I don't mind it, but it's not like I have to be out there. So that was one. So I wrote down for 2025 the things that are happening to me now, which is going to prompt me more and more towards looking at work. Now, the caveat here was in 2023, when I retired in September, I didn't have I had everything paid off. That was the goal, was to have the car and the house paid off. I achieved that. Between me and Mrs. Buzz, we got that done. It was accomplished. And I got videos that say how I did certain things. But I got that accomplished, so that was off the list. But I didn't have a lot of savings. I'm not sitting on a ton of money. So that made me think, well, if this YouTube doesn't work, I still have to go back to work. I got through all of last year. Now, here we are, 2025. Everything is down. Well, except prices. Prices are up. All my revenue is really down. So what does that mean? And I have some expenses. So number 2, the market. Now, my market, I have, as some of you know, I have E-Trade account. I have a principal. This principal account I don't touch. So I don't add to it. I don't take out of it. I just leave it. It was from a 401k from an old company, just mutual funds, and it's down about 10%. So I'm into these. If you can see them. And I made the line a little bigger so you think I have millions, but I don't. But you can see where, the S&P 400 and S&P 500 is down about 10-11% this year from January. Now overall, I'm only down about 2% for year to year. Okay, so from April 20th to April 20th of this year, I'm only down, or I'm up 2%, but I lost all my gains. So I'm sitting there fat, dumb, and happy last year. I'm thinking, oh, look at these gains. Look at this YouTube income. I don't have any, as you know from my Social Security videos, I don't have any great expenses. I'm living on Social Security. Man, I'm living the dream. I got this covered. And many of you out there, well, some of you out there, said, you know, you are living a dream. Reality's going to hit you right in the rear end one of these days. And boy, it came sooner than I thought. So the YouTube income is down 27%. So this year, where's my little card? This year, or I should say from January of last year until April, about 18th or 19th, I think I looked it up, of last year, I had brought in $4,800. So, which wasn't bad. I mean, again, my first endeavor into YouTube, and I picked up almost $5,000 in a few months, in 4 months. Wow, that's crazy. So I was so happy. I thought, geez, this is easy. Well, it's not so easy. So for 2025, I'm at less than 3,500, which is good. I can't complain about that. That's super. That helps pay for some of my things that I may need, but more than what I usually do with this money is I bank it and basically put it into stocks. So as I get this money going into the market now, you know, as it's starting to go further and further down, you know, that's kind of a good thing because you can't invest like in an IRA unless you're making income. So another good point of making income is that you can invest in a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA if you're making income. So it's kind of a good thing and bad thing, right? But I'm down 27%. So on top of the market being down 10%, YouTube being down 27%, and I extrapolated that out to instead of 18,000, I'll be lucky to make 12,000. And that's if you guys are nice and watch my videos. The electric, as some of you heard, who've been watching me, redoing a bathroom, so knob and tube inside the walls. Called electric, called a guy, and I want to get the panel replaced, and I want to get a couple lines added. So that's going to be $4,200. Now, when I retired, I had no thought about doing that. So that was an expense, although not too bad. $4,200 isn't, you know, not the end of the world. But still, it was unexpected for me. Yeah, a dishwasher, a car, I put that in my budget. Actually, I put 2 cars into the budget. 2 used cars to get me through till my end of days. So 2 cars, dishwasher, refrigerator, washer and dryer, water heater, and HVAC system. Try to say that fast. And you know, it came out to around, I figured if I had 75,000, that's going to be pretty good, you know, over the next 10 years or so. If I had 75,000 put away for those type of things, I'd be in pretty good shape. And even less if I, you know, didn't buy top of the line models, I got a good deal on the car, you know, maybe I could get away for 50,000, 60,000. Who knows, right? If you're retired for 10 years or 15 years, let me know. How are your expenses compared to what you thought they were going to be? I've heard some people say they're a lot lower. I've heard some people say they've had some issues, especially people that were in the storms where they lost their homes or they had to cut a lot of trees down because tree cutting is expensive. Anyway, and then the sewer, which you saw, we have an aeration tank, okay, and we've had it for 30 years. The city that I'm in has been hooking up sewers through the EPA, has kind of demanded that everybody gets hooked up to the sewer, and understandable. The aeration tank and septic tanks do work very well, but they're not the best scenario. So they're trying to get everybody hooked up to sewers. Like I said, it is understandable. And we're not sure yet. They said they're going to repave our road from the beginning to the end. And I'm bordering on another city. So if they're going to repave my road, I assume they're going to want us to hook up to sewers. And that's about a 20,000, based on the people that we've talked to around here, you know, based on a number of factors, your frontage of your yard and, you know, different things. the average price is around 20 grand. So there's almost 25 grand that I hadn't really considered as part of my retirement plan. Yes, I knew there was going to be the, like I said, the refrigerator and stove and all that good stuff. If I have to replace that, or the HVAC system, because I know that's 10 grand. I did the roof already, but I know you guys have told me roofing is, and I booked 10,000 for that, because it didn't cost me that much to do mine 6 years ago. But I hear from some of you that you're in the $30,000 range easily on your roofing. So, that's kind of scary too if I had to get another one. Hopefully I won't, but if I do, that's a lot of money there. So, anyway, so if you add all that together, and, I'm not panicking. I think the market will get back up eventually here. The YouTube income, I have no idea. I'm hearing that a lot of people are having that issue. And I don't know if it's going to ever get better. I really don't. So I'm not going to count on it. If I can get 10 grand out of it a year, oh, that'd be sweet. I cannot complain one bit because I love doing the videos. And they're paying me to do it. So it's super nice. But the other things, maybe I should go to work. So if you add those four things together, a down market, the YouTube, the extra prices that I didn't consider, and then the winter blues, maybe it's time to pick up a part-time job. And I'm sure Mrs. Buzz will like to get me out of the house and do the Home Depot. I've talked about it, I've thought about it, and it might become a reality. So if you're in my position and you're seeing the same type of things, and you have an opportunity, maybe it's worthwhile to do that. I know a couple of our subscribers have said that's what they're going to do. They're going to take part-time jobs if they can get them. And there's driving jobs, and a couple people sent me articles about Spark. I think that's Walmart's driving system, or where you deliver Walmart stuff. And there's Uber, there's Spark, there's DoorDash. There's a lot of different driving jobs. Amazon. So that's one vehicle or one area that you could drive and work part-time. And then there's like the Home Depots and the Lowe's and the different stores, retail stores that you could look into. There's options out there. And again, there's age discrimination. But, the way I look at it, I'm 65, I'm on Medicaid, and that would be, to the HR person, I would say, hey, I won't cost you any insurance. Remember that. And that's a big thing for employers. When they look at people, I don't care what you say, one of the parts of age discrimination is if you're not 65 and you're not on Medicare, they're looking at you kind of as a liability because, they're paying your health care. And at that age, and they get enough people that are older, their premiums will go up. So they're mindful of that for that reason. And until they fix the whole medical situation, which probably won't be in my lifetime, but until that gets fixed, age discrimination just for the medical is real. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Maybe I'll have to get a part-time job. We'll see through the summer. And if you're watching, I appreciate you watching. Enjoy your Monday, your Easter Monday, and we'll talk to you again later. Bye.